Hi, and welcome to Practical Privacy. So today we're going to look at the challenge of embedding AI governance in a decentrally organized company. And we have Martin Woodward, Director of Global Legal, Tech and Procurement, and Global Responsible AI Officer from Randstad. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, and thanks for the invite for being here.
Great to have you, Martin. So can you tell us a little bit about the challenge that you were facing?
For sure. Randstad, some of you may know the company. We're a large international HR service provider known for temp staffing and related services across the globe. We're active in 39 different markets. We have a couple of business vertically running through the whole organization. And across the board, we need to get an AI governance program in place, adhering to sort of similar standards globally, ensuring compliance globally as well, but across some very, very different countries and regions.
Very good. And obviously, this is something resonates with many companies out there. So can you talk us through maybe some of the strategies you tried that you didn't feel were effective?
I think, and that's, probably kind of a default modus that a lot of people kind of fall into at the moment that they start a program like this, and especially if they're the ones kind of reading up, is really looking at this centrally from one place, in our case, sort of from our headquarters, and therefore start kind of sharing from that one central place into the rest of the organization, really adopting a style of kind of one-way communications. And whereas you see that with a few eager people, that kind of resonates, and maybe you'll see kind of a few people take some actions, it's not the way to really ensure kind of ownership, really that kind of inclusivity that you want from within the organization. For a program like this, you see that it leads to kind of very slow adoption. People don't really come along, and rightfully so, because why should they, right?
Yeah, 100%. So what did you finally decide to do that did actually prove more effective?
Well, we kind of completely flipped this on its head, and instead of this becoming kind of a one-way show, to really, turn this into a dialogue, and we did a variety of things. I think our key bit, most sort of successful decision in that early stage of the program was to ensure that we have a responsible AI officer, which is what we call kind of our AI governance leads in each of our markets and each of our business verticals. That straight away creates an interest in each of our markets and each of our business verticals to really buy into the program, to kind of celebrate those successes locally, but also to not just be kind of our eyes and ears, but also our hands and feet into the organization. So I think that was a key one, and that community we then supported with dedicated spaces for engagement, for monthly calls that we would set up, where people could very much bring their questions and set the agenda as well. We supplemented that with a roadshow to some of our key markets, especially here in the European Union, where some of the regulatory pressures will be the highest. And, in turn, we saw that really led to kind of higher engagement. You really sense that shared ownership, I would say, especially in those countries that we visited as part of the roadshow. You see that responsible AI officers really have bought into the program, are really kind of fully on board. You see them actively sharing sort of across the whole of the responsible AI officer community in the company much more. So I think that ultimately was one of the key drivers of success in those early stages of the program.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And it's incredible to how to achieve that, I suppose, when it's decentralized, it's even more of a challenge, but I think it's extremely important. So hindsight, if you could go back, what would you potentially do different next time around?
Well, I think, I mean, the obvious answer here is to really, involve every part of your organization, or at least a decent representation of them, much earlier on in the process. Now, as I mentioned, we're active across 39 different markets, and it's, you can't get anywhere if you take 39 voices into account. Having said that, there's always a couple of lead markets, in our case, markets where, for example, AI adoption is already higher. So, you maybe want representation of especially those countries that are also going to be most impacted at the table at a much earlier stage of your program. So for us, I would say that was one of the key learnings, and something that, perhaps for next programs we'll do a little bit differently.
Yeah, 100%. So one key piece of advice, Martin, either in relation to this topic or completely totally different, but something that you feel that would be good to share with your peers.
Yeah, I think, a lot of organizations are kind of at that beginning stage of their AI governance journey, and sort of reflecting back on the advice that I was given, 18 to 24 months ago when we started on our journey, is to really take a good temperature check of your organization. What's your organization's culture like? If you're more of like a software company or an engineering company, you may want to approach your AI governance initially from a technical perspective, take an inventory of the AI systems you have, and then govern from there. If, like Randstad, you're a very kind of human-centric company, you want to give people a sense of purpose and direction. So we really started with, designing our AI principles, sharing with our people internally and externally how we want to use AI, and then build our governance program on top of that. And I think that change management approach, that people change management approach, is one that has really resonated well, and has provided an excellent foundation for the rest of our program. So that looking at your organization's culture first is definitely a step I'd recommend everybody take.
Excellent. Yeah, that's 100%. I think there is no one size fits all. You really do need to look at, what your situation is before you get started.
For sure.
Excellent. Thanks a million, Martin. I really appreciate you sharing your insights with us today.
It was lovely being here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe and share. Until next time.